A Hairier problem. Rise of the Furball. Chapter 23. Reflections. Spike the Dragon was bored. Several days ago, his hunger had made him instinctively eat a diamond broken off of Sleebell's crown. It turned out to be disguised dark crystal. He had to consume it, causing it to try to grow again inside his throat. Had Twilight not acted as fast as she had and caused it to check to block it would have rapidly increased its size and punched it through his throat, despite being naturally thicker to accompany his easily diet of precious gems and magic mail sending fire. However, despite not having died from an inverse craniorthotomy, the force required to launch the still growing crystal shards from his throat had done considerable harm to his throat lining. So, when he'd been declared stabilized, Twilight guided him rushed to the Carolot for the best medical care in the country. There, he had been looked at by Princess Celestia's and Luna's own personal doctors. With great praise to bring even in one of the few dragons in the world who was recognized as a doctor under equine law, the Sir Spike would not be failed where dodged species couldn't help him. But, even though all the commotion in the end would mean he'd make a full recovery, the worst part was him needing to remain bedridden for a few days for his body to naturally regenerate the lining in his throat. There was absolutely nothing to do while bedridden except read, which, due to having lived in libraries for most of his life, he easily did as regular free time. So, he tried to just resort to his imagined fantasies about Rarity.
Mr. Spike,
interrupted the nurse currently on watch.
You have a visitor.
Oh, he croaked, setting up with some strains as the muscles in his neck flexed as to steel healing areas inside his digestive tract. While Twilight and the others visited frequently, they were allowed to just walk to say hi when checking up on him. He didn't know anybody else who would want to see him otherwise. He was even more confused when, indeed, Twilight first came around the corner.
Hey, Spike, she greeted cheerily. How are you holding up?
Better than the last time you checked on me, Twilight, he rasped before coughing. What's done, he asked. Though, I thought you...
Spike, don't talk too much. You're still healing, began Twilight. Plus, you really have two visitors.
She did look at some points as he applied to her too. We're not sitting behind the wall and begging for them to approach. He first noticed the look of revulsion, then the cringing at the orderly on duty, as he noticed the visitors were making him worry what was in store. There was some truth to the foreshadowing, as his visitors turned out to be none other than Raspberry Barrel and Heliodor. Well, he was sure of the latter. The former was implied by his roosting on the horn of who he believed to be Raz. She did not look the same. Her colors were darker, especially her cutie mark, or so reminded him of the reason he'd been hospitalized in the first place. Her horn also seemed different, seemed wrong, for it was grooveless and curved upwards with a strange bending in the middle of the top. In fact, she looked far more demonic than the pony who he first met laying outside Golden Oaks back in Ponyville, looking more like King Sombra. At least, that's what she looked like on the outside. Her expression radiated something far different. Strangely, it was fear? Fear of him? Of Twilight? Maybe both, as she looked for reassurance from the Alcorn. The princess gave it, though. The fear did not leave the unicorn's face as he approached Spike's bed. Are you? Nervously asked Spike, unsure what was going on.
Yes, Spike, it's me.
Fears cawed as if confirming her identity.
This is how I look in reality. The horn, the cutie mark. This is true to me. So please, with that in mind, I'm sorry.
Spike raised an eyebrow. You're sorry?
Yes, it's my fault you're here. My magic nearly killed you, so I know you hate me, and I can't fault you for that. Nothing can make up for what I did, but please, I want you to know I'm sorry for that, and...
Raz, chill. It's cool.
Yes, but, you're not mad?
Spike shrugged. Shit happens. Spike! Criticized Twilight. Oh, come on, Twilight. I nearly died. I think I can get a free pass for swearing. Plus, considering the number of times you got me into near-death situations and been torn up about...
Please don't strain your throat, Spike.
I'm fine enough. Anyway, Raz here deserves some forgiveness, too. She wasn't the one who made me eat the diamond. That was still my own fault.
But, mumbled Raspberry, it still hurt you.
But nothing. You didn't actively make Sleeve break her crown, which gave me the chance to eat the thing. It's like your fault this happened.
Raspberry smiled. Thank you, Spike. I did everything that's happened because of that. My conscience can rest easy now, knowing that you don't hold me responsible.
Yeah, no problem. Though, do you mind explaining what the deal is with your horn? We're sort of like King Sabra's, which does raise a few questions I like answered. Twilight laughed, though with twins of regret in light of what those answers would reveal to Spike. I'm still aware of what happened. It's a long story, number one assistant. Oh, moaned Rarity, blinking uneasily as Constance turned to her. What happened? You passed out, Lightning said nonchalantly.
But there's a bit of the night, last I remembered. Did I really sleep for so long?
Exclaimed Rarity. Proceeded to hurry to the mirror, check her mane for any undue creases. There would have been any, since Rarity's magically enhanced hairspray ensured her mane would keep whatever shape she desired it to be, no matter how many times she dramatically fell backwards in a dead faint. But old habits didn't go easily.
Well, sorta, explained Rainbow. First time you passed out was last night. Was in reaction to Apple Bloom going to detail about...
Rainbow had to be careful, lest he made the same mistake Apple Bloom had, caused Rarity to faint again.
Well, remember how Applejack was turned to the werewolf that one night in the forest?
Yes, we were looking for that, whatever the Crusaders bid, right?
Yeah. Basically, the same thing happened to Raspberry once he went into detail trying to save Apple Bloom from Fairfist's ghost. Except she didn't die from the injury and did contract werewolfism.
I think you mean like it's Chubby Rainbow.
Fluttershy corrected. Rarity just rolled her eyes.
Well, those can't be helped, I suppose. The graphic mental imagery was far from pleasant. Hold on. Is it the first time you're saying I fainted again between then and now? Exclaimed Pinky. You guys woke up about 3 hours ago in Applejack's room. Then, after we brought you back into speed by mentioning Applejack and somehow spread our curse to Apple Bloom, who is, I guess, now a rare puppy, because he's still a little filly, you said something about how dreadful you passed out again. So we moved you back to your room.
Rarity stopped fumbling around with her mane, too busy staring at Pinky with a raised eyebrow skepticism. When the fashionista finally realized Pinky had stopped talking, she shook her head to stop gazing into empty space.
Well, thanks for me back there, but such what really happened. Apple Bloom is a werewolf.
Insisted Pinky.
Pinky?
She piped to Fluttershy.
The proper term here would be rare cub, not puppy.
But if Apple Bloom had a choice, she'd choose puppy over cub.
Rarity decided face up before amending her statement.
Well, puppy, in addition to Applejack's condition, renouncing to her having to cuss again. Fluttershy nodded.
I'm afraid so.
But how?
Stammered the unicorn.
She killed the brute in the forest. There's no possible.
She stopped herself when she realized she had to go muzzle to muzzle with the timid animal caretaker, to the point of backing the Pegasus into the corner.
I'm sorry, Fluttershy. You know how worked up I could get. Ain't that the truth?
Snarked Rainbow, to which Pinky giggled. Fluttershy shot both of them a disapproving look before turning her attention back to Rarity.
It's all right.
Thank you,
said Rarity.
Oh, do please continue dying. Right, after he passed out, we explained to Raspberry everything anybody could recall about Applejack's previous time as a werewolf.
I was meaning to ask why Twilight brought her along. The poor mare had been through enough just hours before that mockery of a such trial.
Well, if you remember, Lycanthropy was a creature of Sabra's dark magic. So Twilight Cranes, I figured if anybody would understand why Applejack referred, it was Raz for obvious reasons. However,
what, Fluttershy?
well,
Tell me.
it's sort of hard to explain.
Tell me.
Are you sure? Considering me to tell you Apple Bloom was the lycanthrope to end well.
Tell me! Oh, flirt, nickered Rainbow. Look, Rary, Raz basically said Applejack had never been cured in the first place.
Silas said, "You're joking. Surely this is some bad joke on your part," pleaded Rarity. Piggy shook her head, composure in that rare state where not even the slightest smile was on her muzzle.
You don't know she's right or not, but she's knowledgeable about a kind of magic even Twilight Mystic doesn't understand. We have no choice but to believe her.
But that just shows more suspicion to this. I mean, I refuse to believe Raspberry would die. She's clearly the same pony who so many times, and seemed outright mortified when she learned what happened to Spike, because of pure circumstance.
Speaking of whom, how's anyone sitting on today?
Fly's there right now, as a matter of fact.
Fluttershy answered, wrathfulness in light of Rarity's assertiveness fading somewhat.
Along with Raz and Hairier, since the fact it was her magic and hard spike, so she's here to apologize.
I hope Tia can forgive her, since it truly wasn't her fault. Really, it's mine in a morbid way. She would have made that diamond for me if I hadn't picked her for it. But nothing we can do about it now. Yeah, agreed Rainbow. What's that lesson with the princesses today? The one where we're going to discuss what to do about Raspberry, being both a powerful dark magic user and allegedly the Blood King heir of King Sabra. Oh, right, deduction! Rarity blurted. I need to look my best. We all need to look our best, especially Raz. The poor dear will probably need some faster to help with deciding her main. It doesn't even get me started about Applejack. Wait, if we're here, Twilight's with Raz and he needs visiting Spike. Where's the other three of our group? Still in Applejack's room, answered Pinky. And trust me, you do not want to go in there. I'm telling you, Slayers, I'm sorry for keeping a secret from the family for so long. Apple Bloom moaned, hints of tears in her eyes. Don't matter, snapped the Orange Mayor. Poor Elias, we could have done something about this ages ago if you only told us. At the very least, it will give Mike an indication about never having been cured in the first place. To be fair, what would have accomplished anyway? Asked Lightning. It's still not clear how she continued lycanthropy. We still haven't figured out how I got it either, for that matter. Last I checked, that was between you and I fighting when we were losing that dumb race. Or Saberlo taking a bite out of your throat while you're sleeping off a hangover. Applejack's tone was slowly increasing, what could be only restrained or great aggression. Evidenced by her canines starting to change to fangs, and eyes only shifting ever so slightly to yellow-green coloration. Hey, do you think it's any easier for me? You have some dumbass immunity to the curse that prevents you from becoming no better than some feral animal, retorted Dust. She too started to bear fangs, and pupils becoming a lighter hue of orange. Where things were going, the two werewolves were about to relive the fight they had before. Like this time, both were quickly becoming inequine predators filled with bloodlust. Thus, it fell upon the werepuppy to stop the apple. Seriously? You two are gonna throw down right now?
Well, that's what say once! Answered Dustin easy and simultaneously, now having dropped any subtlety and assumed their canine complexions. The actual fighting was prevented, however, by Applebloom forcing herself in between them and having to change forms herself.
Now, this isn't what either of you want. Look at yourselves. I know both of you don't want to throw away who you are as ponies, but this is exactly what's going to happen. You don't stop.
Stay out of this, Lonely. You don't understand.
I don't understand,
screamed the little filly. Her razor-sharp teeth barred directed to her sister.
I was like, I actually do understand. He's like, just because I'm a filly don't mean I don't have the same problems you do.
Lightning Dust cocked an eyebrow when she realized what Dust applied. Even Applebloom didn't realize it. No, Applebloom, trust me. You don't have the same problems. At least not all of them.
What the hell's that?
Oh, Celestia, gasped Applejack. Don't tell me you had that happen while you were... Lightning laughed. Oh yeah, I didn't dare mention to you back when I dragged my sorry plot to your farm that day. One of the contributing reasons why I got booted from my job in Baltimore was my supervisor was getting convinced I somehow angered every dog in the city. Naturally, I got really crabby about it, both because of, because I didn't understand what was going on. You told me about your own fun with that, though.
Envelope growled impatiently. Okay, so maybe I don't have these same number of kinds of problems you do. I don't think I got the majority. This curse makes me want to run around at night. All hearing's so good I keep getting headaches for everybody talking at school. And I've been able to grieving from Mike since the mind.
Applejack couldn't argue back to that immediately. Realizing since he'd been regarding Applebloom's points as irrelevant, saying in, and that in a way, the shared issues were even more of a problem for the little apple. So Applejack had been working around a meat issue with the help of her friends. There was no way Applebloom could have been eating like a carnivore without somebody knowing. Applebloom, have you actually eaten white?
No, thankfully,
denied the filly, much to Applejack's relief.
I think it's not too much the actual thing, it's just a place. Of course, I can't worry you find a doggy treat bag in a way that requires poison money angle.
Applejack faced tough.
You know,
I was wondering why Winona was burning through those trees so fast. Oh, Billy, well, I'm not happy as you steal him. Much prefer that you have it to consume the real deal. She said, even as a werewolf, Applejack had to work hard not to throw up whenever she ate meat.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that, Slace. But the reason I wanted to keep this from secret is well, after what you went through back then, the worry about how other ponies saw you, troubles with slave alone, and I will. Well, all that until I back the metal pile. Family's been troubled far too much with this werewolf nonsense, especially you of all ponies, and I didn't want to put the family through all that again.
Applejack moved forward to embrace her sister. Oh, Bloomley, I'm sorry for being mad at you earlier. Cynthia looked up at the non-werewolf in the room. You two, Dust.
No sweat,
replied the Pegasus, returning to regular form.
I remember I didn't take it too well when I figured out what was going on with me. But for some pony like you to have to go through lycanthropy a second time, if it was me, I'd probably done something really bad by now, simply by being so uncontrollably distraught. So in comparison, you have some amazing self-control right now.
Yeah. Applejack sighed with a smile. I believe that the situation ended without any pony being hurt. Just then there was a knocking on the door.
Hey, Dust! AJ! Emblem!
King Rainbow.
You girls ready? Almost lunchtime.
Your Highness, I must attend to this,
pleaded Captain Stonewall.
I don't know what the princess was thinking when she had to set up, but...
Permission to speak freely, Captain, replied Shiny, filling was dressed certainly greatly in preparation for the luncheon. Stonewall was appropriately neat for his temperament, not letting almost anything bring down his steadfast military stance. Immediately became much more friendly, slightly nervous pony when he was behind it all.
Oh, of course, Prince Armor. God regulations don't really approve to you now that you're of a higher station.
You know, you gotta ask, why must the Equestrian military and the Crystal Empire military be two separate things? I mean, the Crystal Empire is obviously a part of Equestria, since it's not Princess Paladin. So why not just combine the two forces and have Captain Armor and Shining Armor be captain over both of them? And no, just because he's a prince, don't cut it. He can do both. Yeah, amazing. You can do two jobs. Shocker, isn't it? Trust me, Stony, said the ex-captain. No, I'm rewriting this, said the captain, doing his best to reassure his former subordinate by using an old nickname. You think the paperwork as guard captain is bad? At least you have rules that must be followed, and ponies tend not to question your authority. But as Prince reads it, not only do I have to rule an entire annex to Equestria, that, honestly, is as old-fashioned as you can get. To be fair, it was missing for a millennium. The whole Crystal Empire was doubting my legitimacy to be the beloved of the Crystal Princess, or as they refer to KDS.
Well, I understand, Your Highness.
Enough with the formalities, chuckled the prince. Well, it is commendable you're maintaining professionalism here. I'm no different than I was back then when I was your boss. Do I need to order you to drop the formality? Stonewall cringed in embarrassment.
No, I get it, Shiny.
Shiny shook his head in amusement. As good a soldier as you are, Stony, I still can't figure out how you managed to get past recruiter's scrutiny. That's not important. What is important, though, is that my own experience in regards to Miss Beryl leads me to think that she is not a threat despite her outbursts at the trial.
What she did out there is exactly what I'm concerned about. I had the guards set up almost every imaginable defense against a dark, powerful magic user running wild in that courtroom. And every single one of them was useless against her when she snapped and went for blue blood.
Shiny raised an eyebrow and turned his head to look directly at his successor. But were you sure they were designed for that kind of dark magic? Well, no doubt the guards you posted in there were trained to deal with the usual worst-case scenario of a dark magic user running ramshot with unusually strong fireball spells, or trying to raise the dead. They wouldn't stand a chance against somebody on Sombra's level. Now did the princesses. Was considering Celestia and Luna took down Sombra years ago, means this pony who Celestia has invited to once is much more powerful than the very ponies he claimed to have inherited her power from. Sully keyed the voice of Keats.
Was this why the fact she, as a pony, would be a good thing to have on Equestria's side?
Katie! blushed Johnny jokingly. But we agreed you knock before coming into the walk-in closet.
It's only when you're going to wear pants, dear.
Carried the Alicorn.
Since I'm positive you haven't owned any in years after outgrowing your lucky Grandmaster pants from high school, I don't think I'm in trouble for breaking the rules, am I?
Lucky Grandmaster?
Asked Johnny, confused. Okay, for the record, I did not grow them. I decided to try making a bow out of the pant legs back when she was still getting the hang of basic lactation, which she did, but managed to make the knot so tight the pants were completely unwearable. And yes, before you go into that tirade from high school again, they were my lucky pants, especially since all my best sessions playing ogres and opulets were when I was wearing those pants.
Still can't believe I fell in love with such a nerd,
joked Cadence, walking over to kiss her husband on the cheek.
But there will be time for mourning the loss of your nerd pants later. Right now, we have a luncheon to attend. Yes, Captain.
Her attention turned to the other guard in the closet.
I do trust my aunt in this. Raspberry's intentions were to take out the royalty and claim Equestria for her own, as much as Sombra wished to. She would not have wasted time with a weakling like Blue Blood instead of taking out all 4 princesses. The only ponies who could really go up against her power, provided there was time to prepare. That's why she overpowered the Caramasters yesterday. There was no invocation she was capable of Locomotive's Morte spell that could affect that many ponies regardless of her own magical ability.
Plus, continued Princess of Love, her tone becoming more somber, the luncheon will probably be beneficial for every pony, especially Raspberry. Most of she had bottled up for so long, I honestly think those are more dangerous than those worst dark magic spells she could throw at any pony. Especially while power is one thing to have, as long as it's used responsibly. It can be rendered harmless. But when insanity or desperation by any reason is given control, well, I think it goes without saying that had Apple Bloom not stopped her in time, Raspberry would have made an example of Blue Blood in a manner far worse than anything Sombra had done to any pony.
Are you okay, Raspberry?
Asked Twilight, having escorted the Dark Unicorn and her pet for the infirmary where Spike still needed to rest, all the way to the grand doors, walking the way to the royal banquet hall, where the luncheon was to be held. Only before they arrived there, Rarity had intercepted them and dragged the duo to her own chambers.
Are you crazy, Twilight, darling?
Questioned Rarity.
Of course she's not all right. She is in no condition to attend a private luncheon with royalty.
Raspberry could only whimper slightly as she continued to suffer under the designs of the fashionista, who Bradley kidnapped her to second upon returning to the castle proper, with intentions to make her look proper, adapted a diamond-marked pony, and had partially converted a portion of her room into a stylist salon, complete with spinning chair.
Miss Rarity, you don't have to. Oh, but I must. Consider this making up for how much I still owe you for all those gems you got me.
Raspberry's dark red coat immediately assumed a shade close to that of her normal pony disguise, though more out of shock than magic.
But you don't owe me anything for those. Heck, I feel bad for never telling you the truth about them before charging you for those knockoffs. Don't be ridiculous, Raspberry. While true, the things you sold me were not the real deal, they were small and trivial enough that I only ever used them for trimmings on my outfits. Admittedly, those designers would use glass ones for the same purpose, but the glass ones don't have the look and feel of the real precious stones. So, I'm paying for the quality of imitation, I guess, since I doubt dragons would try to eat the pony dresses. No pony will probably ever know the difference, unless after I told. Really? You truly think that? But even then, I don't deserve your generosity. Almost everything about me you knew back at Ponyfield was a lie, a cruel deception. Oh, so you don't have any employment history at Travis Retreat? You manipulated Cashmere and Oscar into opening their residence to you out of the kindness of their hearts. That you never were the pony who's been roaming the world all her life. The size secluded unicorn who only sold cheap gem-fakes purely to survive. The pony who, even after her secret was revealed by the most complete accident in the worst way possible, was willing to throw away her own freedom to protect Infinity from a threat that even we, the elements of harmony, failed to stop. But, no, that still doesn't change. Raz, interrupted Twilight. Just listen to Rarity. Hear what she has to say. Yes, please, do what your princess asks of you. Added Rarity, taking Raz's hand to her host and making it look right at hers. Now answer me with a yes or no, okay? Okay. Answered Raspberry. Good enough. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that you have convinced yourself that Raspberry Battle,
What I knew, the one every pony knew, is only as deep as the disguise you use. The one hiding how fate forced your body to become a twisted image of a foul and corrupted demon. Which is it true? Well, for all I know, that is the fact that I am just as evil as Sambla, but being part of the most important group of ponies in all of Equestria has taught me many things, like how to see a pony for who they truly are, that matters. With you, that's in the inside. She down the air just in front of Raspberry's chest for emphasis. If it means anything to you, the way ponies see me is with a fair degree of artificiality, too. What? Exclaimed Raspberry and Twilight simultaneously. Former shocked at the alabaster unicorn even claiming such a thing, while Twilight caught the deeper undertones, heavily enough to flare her wings. Are you saying there's more to it than just fake eyelashes? Letting her erase the statement, Rarity stood steadfast and sure of herself. Yes, the pony you see me as isn't quite the pony I was born as. It's not nearly as elaborate your secret's fast, but... Rarity looked around. Both of you promised me what I'm about to tell you never leaves this room. Raz, Twilight, and Heliodor, and Francis' insistence, all who seemed pinky promise. Alright, in truth, the way I normally talk like this, it's not my natural accent. It took years to get it right, though thankfully my mother and father think it's cute. Don't tell anybody about it. My real accent. I accidentally dropped an octave and dissed everything about the proper pronunciations of words. Rarity usually start for. Well, y'all can get why I can't go around saying like this, can't you? No pony will take me seriously as a fascination while sounding at some point who don't really need to be concerned with how sadly. Rarity took the dumbfounded gaping jaws of the not-fake accented unicorn, alicorn, and Phoenix as a sign of understanding. So cleared her throat. Its pronunciation immediately going back to the socialite the outside world saw her as. Ahem. It's not something I sew off, obviously. But for you, Vaz, you put in confidence in us as good ponies. So you deserve to have confidence by putting yourself as well. Sure, your horn is quite unsightly, to be honest. I think Healy's the only one who likes it. I sure as hell don't. But other than that, all you do is change colors. In fact, I go so I say your disguise is in fact more evocative of you, since the stigma of dark magic doesn't suit a pony like you, who's truly good at heart. Thanks, Rarity. That means a lot, said Raz, flushing slightly. But I don't want to go back to my false colors just yet. No, declared Rarity, as if in an impulse. Don't call it that. Instead, let's just state that they're your preferred colors. Heliodor in approval. Raz smiled. Alright then, my preferred colors. All the same, I can't go back to them just yet. Until my fate is decided by whatever happens at the luncheon. I want to show I recognize what I am, not hide how ugly I am on the outside, only to prove to every point I am truly no different than them. Oh, I think ugly doesn't suit you. Never did to begin with, but especially not now. Rarity said Rarity, gesturing to the mirror. Raz realized he hadn't seen what Rarity had done to her mane, but as she turned to the salon chair to see it, the horrors that had been perceived were instead the complete opposite. Normally her mane simply more of a jagged curve, vaguely similar to Rarity's in a way. But now her mane was perfectly smooth. Bangs had been draped over her net hair, was now completely covered in tongues in between her elongated horn and skull. And it seemed to actually fit in with her appearance, and the unnatural mutation it was. From her forehead, her mane continued down to the right side, and hung off her head without looking unbalanced. For the first time in her life, Raspberry looked at herself in the mirror for what she really looked like, and did not fear everything that her colors, horn, and outright appearance heavily implied. She looked absolutely pretty, and more like a regular pony. Even more so, Vaz realized Rarity was right too. She had a pretty pony, but had let herself be defined by the pony she barely shared a bloodline with. She let herself be defined by her father, who had tried to mold her as something she was never destined to be. But now was her chance to truly define herself as her own pony, not only in the eyes of the princesses, but more importantly herself. Let's just hope the princesses will see things that way too, thought Raz. But a glance of smiling Heliodor was all she needed for a smile to grace her muzzle. Maybe everything would turn out okay in the end after all.